Good evening, guys. We're here today with our darling on a Friday night, and we're just gonna do a few things. We're gonna test the vacuum, see if everything's okay with the vacuum, and might do a separate video on that. But for now, we're just gonna do a quick check. It is cold now. It gets a little warmer in the day, but it is December now, so that's to be expected. And let's pop the hood and start the engine and test the vacuum. Okay. So here we are with the vacuum hose fitted on right after the throttle body, and our needle was sort of skipping around in green a little bit, getting closer to late timing. Yeah, that's not good, that kind of needle play. So we might have a bit of a vacuum leak somewhere, like not a crazy one, but somewhere along the way I feel like we might have a little bit of a vacuum leak. Even though vacuum leak says over there closer to 0 would be a vacuum leak, I think. But still, this kind of green needle is dancing up and down like that, not good. Take it off and see what happens. See, now we have a direct vacuum leak, but I can't really tell the difference with the engine. See, the engine is running the same way even if we have a vacuum leak. And when I put my thumb to it, I feel it sucking air in. But the engine doesn't really like shake differently or sound any different, at least to me. Hear that? Trying to get my light on that. And then here it is sort of normal, but it's drifting. So maybe the timing is slightly off. Or we have a vacuum leak somewhere. Hard to tell. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna check our vacuum at this vacuum booster brake hose. And we're also gonna replace the check valve because that one is, if you can see, it's cracked. And I'm not waiting till it starts leaking and giving me vacuum leak thingamabob. I'm not gonna wait till it's gonna give me a vacuum leak that I can't account for. I know these things do go bad kind of often, and that one's already cracking, as you can tell. So I want to replace that and then check for a vacuum leak afterwards. And here's the new piece. Ordered it from IPD, I believe, maybe by Bosch, but I'm not sure actually. But doesn't really matter. It's new, it's shiny. And it will prevent the vacuum leak from happening at that point, and also prevent me maybe from losing brakes. Okay, quick update. I was able to pull the check valve out of the brake booster, but I cannot pull the check valve itself out. It is stuck in there royally good, really well. And on other news, my cap for my sorry, blanking out. The cap for my brake cylinder is stuck, and I think it's because it's bulging here. You see that? I think it's under pressure for some reason. I don't think it's supposed to be under that much pressure, is it? Ugh. I don't know. So, yeah, it's kind of bulged. I don't think that's a good thing. Maybe this hole right here is clogged. Maybe that's like a let-off valve hole thing. Not too sure. But, yeah. So I gotta get this thing out. I'm gonna keep trying to do that, just using brute force, maybe a screwdriver. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm managed to get that off. Okay, so after using a big screwdriver, I was able to pry under there gently because I didn't want to damage the hose, and force this old check valve off. Now, before we put the new check valve on, which we got right here. Actually, the old one doesn't look bad. Maybe it has been replaced at some point. Oh, there it is. It's not, I can't say it's brittle. And I'm trying to see if there's like a year on here. Just a parts number, I guess. But you know, we're gonna put a new one in to make sure that we don't have any issues in the future with that part, or at least for the foreseeable time. But now, while we have it off, we're gonna plug the hose in and start the car to check for vacuum leak, and we'll see if our gauge shows a better reading this time from the brake booster hose. Because the other one we put it on was kind of small, maybe it wasn't providing enough suction, so maybe that was an inaccurate reading. So we're going to try this. Okay, so we are connected into the brake line and we are running. And let's see what we have now. Alright, I mean, it's not crazy, but it's similar. And should remain steady in green zone. Can't say it remains steady. Why fluctuating high speeds indicates weak valve spring. Steady drop here indicates choke muffler. Well, it's not like dropping. It's not steady either. Occasional drop indicates carb or tappets need adjustment. Plug miss, sticky valve, or trouble in carburetor. Can't say which it is, I guess, at this point, but maybe an engine flushes in order that would cure some of that. So we'll try that soon. But if somebody knows what else this could be, or knows exactly what this is, please leave something in the comments to let me know. Okay, sorry I didn't show that on camera, because what you need to do is you need to use both hands. It's kind of you need all your strength. So I use some of this WD PTFE because it dries. It's dry lube and it dries quickly. So I just put some on my finger and made sure you can slip this rubber grommet in pretty easily, but then this plastic piece has a hard time getting in there. So I used some of that WD-40 PTFE to kind of lube up the inside of that ring, and I pressed down as hard as I could until it popped in. So now we know we won't lose, or unlikely to lose brakes while we're driving. Of course, this brake booster could always go bad, but we'll hope for the best. It's just a little safety thing, but it's more addressing the vacuum leak issue. If we don't want that to happen with older cars, it's obviously more likely to happen with time. So that's one thing we want to be able to sort of reduce. This is not an expensive part. You can buy an IPD for like, I think it's $10. No, it might be more, but you know, the prices vary. Now I do have another cap, because last time we suspected something was wrong with this cap, but I cannot get this cap off right now. So I'm gonna try to use two hands to try to get it off. And let's see, what else can we change tonight? Well, we have a little oil seepage right here, and that's because the seal here needs to be replaced. We have one of those too, so that's like some quick and easy thing we can do. And that also might be letting air inside the engine. Air might be, I doubt there's air getting sucked into the oil cap. That's probably negligible. I think my concern will have to be here. The manifold, I don't know if you can tell, it's wet, so it's probably letting through leaking oil. And if you look, oh, really hard to get it in there. If you get in right under there, I was just looking at that sensor. I have a replacement sensor for that, but if you look, you see how the oil is all seeping from there, from the top. So, and right here too, I don't know if you can try to point you right